Here, and I'll pour a cup of tea. Just watch those cookies so he doesn't attack them. Hello you guys, and thank you for joining me. So today, on this episode, the drama. Anyway, wait for it. So as you can see, I'm surrounded by lots of beautiful things from Fortnum & Mason. So we spent a week away in London. Scooter and Peggy came along, and as usual, he got up to showing off his usual antics and caused loads of trouble, which I'll tell you about a little bit later. So, what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be unveiling these lovely Christmas decorations that we bought from Fortnum & Mason, and I'm going to be making for you some pre-Christmas delicious, they say they're Greek, but they're not. I'm claiming fame to them. They are my Greek almond cookies. And they're absolutely stunning. Super simple to make. You can make them ahead and you can enjoy them throughout the 2 weeks of Christmas because believe it or not, they last. They don't go soggy. They're really light. They're almost of a shortbready texture with a beautiful whole almond in the middle. They're absolutely stunning. So let's head off to the kitchen and let's get on with making those amazing cookies. You behave yourself. You're in enough trouble as it is, boy, young man. Yeah, I'll deal with you later. Oh, we're on. Okay, you guys, sorry about that. So, we're going to get on with making these delicious cookies. As I said earlier, they're of a shortbread texture, covered in beautiful confectioner's sugar with a lovely whole almond, toasted almond in the center. They're absolutely exquisite. And the Greeks, they normally make these at Christmas and Easter. And I actually had one in Fortnum & Mason. And let me tell you, they're not a patch on these ones. Homemade are the best. And they're super easy and all of you can make them, I guarantee you. So let's crack on and I hope you'll all give them a try. First thing, we've got a bowl and we've got a sieve, okay? We've also got 2 baking trays lined with parchment paper. And in this bowl, we have 400 grams of plain flour. Into that, I've put 1 tablespoon of baking powder and I've put a ½ teaspoon of salt. And so I'm just going to add all of that to the sieve and we're going to sieve those together. And it just creates a little bit of air as well to give the cookies a nice fluffy texture. Okay, so flour, baking powder, salt is in there. Also into that I am going to add 75 grams of confectioner's sugar. So 75 grams of icing sugar, and I will just give it a sieve just to make sure there's no hard lumps in there because we don't want any hard lumps being in the center of our cookies. Okay, and that's done. Okay, also you will need 250 grams of butter, which I've chilled and I've cubed. So keep it nice and cold, and that can just go straight into your bowl with your flour. Okay, and we're just literally going to rub this in with our fingertips to resemble fine breadcrumbs. So before we do that, I'm going to tell you the rest of the ingredients. So in this bowl here, I have 100 grams of chopped almonds, and what I've done is I've dry fried them on the pan just to toast them to give them that lovely nutty flavor, because quite often when they're sitting in plastic bags they go a little bit soggy and stale and they're not very nice. So I always toast them and warm them up on the pan. Don't burn them, just toast them enough, warm them through to give them a nice toasted nutty flavor. And the same with some whole almonds. I've again tossed them on the pan on the heat so that it gives them a nice nutty flavor. And I don't know how many of these we're going to need. We're going to need however many the recipe will make. So I will let you know at the end. Wet ingredients are a drop of good old cognac. It can be your favorite. This is mine. And a little drop of vanilla essence. And also, if you like, you don't have to, but a little drop of rosewater. It just gives them that little nice flavor at the end. So we've got our flour and our butter and everything in here. And now I'm going to get on with just rubbing it all together till it resembles fine breadcrumbs. Trying not to overwork it because you don't want to build up the gluten in the flour because it'll make for a tougher cookie as opposed to a nice light, fluffy one. Okay, so that butter is all incorporated in there now, and you can see it's lovely golden and it's just like sand. So that'll all start coming together once I start adding a couple of wet ingredients to it. So I'm just going to clean off my hands here, and I'm going to get my chopped hazelnuts. I've just told Scooter, which is why he's sulking there in the bed, that the vet has called to say he now has a nut allergy and therefore he won't be able to receive one of these biscuits. He's sulking. It's not true, but anyway. He's got his little teddy bear beside him. That's when he's really sulking, when he's got Bunny beside him. Okay, so almonds in, chopped almonds in. Give them a stir. Oh, they smell absolutely amazing. So they've all gone in now. And it really does look like breadcrumbs now, especially with things in. Okay, so we're going to put in a teaspoon of vanilla, good vanilla essence. That's gone in. Okay. Who measures brandy? A little glug of brandy. And a little glug of rosewater. And do be very careful with the rosewater because it can be very strong. So I normally literally put just a capful. That's plenty. Oh, and it smells amazing. Wish you could smell this stuff. It's really beautiful. You can normally get it in like one of the ethnic shops. That's where I get it from. One of the Asian shops here. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to get our hands in there and we're going to get working this mixture together till it forms a nice ball. And it will come together because the butter is starting to soften. We don't want it to soften too much. And so what we'll do is once we've formed these and put them on the trays, we'll pop the trays into the oven for about half an hour just to firm up the butter again so that when they go in the oven, they don't spread too much on us because we don't want them to spread. We want them to remain nice and firm. So you can, what a lovely smell. You can smell the brandy and the rosewater. Okay, guys. So there we have it. Now what we're going to do is take a little pinch, okay, and we want to roll it. We want to roll it in our hand. Okay, and we want to make a little hole in the center and we want to get our whole almond and we want to stick that in there. And then we want to roll it back into the palm of our hand, okay, into a bowl, and then you just ever so slightly do a little dimple, okay, with your finger. And that's basically going to give you the traditional shape of the, they call them in Greece and in Cyprus, kourabiedes, almond cookies. They're Irish almond cookies. Irish almond biscuits. Hey. Now, so you've got the chopped almonds and you've also got the lovely whole almond in the center. So you literally want to just create a little dimple and just set them aside on your tray, about 1.5 inch gap in between them so that they don't, they do have a little bit of room to rise, but they're not going to spread hopefully or rise too much. Now I like to make them quite small so they're just bite size. Okay, so I'm going to get on with filling up this tray. Okay, you roll them in between your hands, you flatten them out, and then you put your little dimple in there. And that just gives them their traditional shape. Okay, you guys, so we've got 40 cookies out of that. So you will need 40 almonds, toasted, whole almonds. Okay, before we put these in the oven, because we've been working the butter with our hands and we've warmed it up, we need to put this into the fridge for about 30 minutes, just to firm up and chill again, so that we get that lovely crumbly buttery texture when they're cooked. So we're going to pop them into the fridge and then come join me in the sitting room, the drawing room, while we unwrap the presents from Fort Emma Mason. How exciting. Okay, you guys, so the cookies are in the fridge chilling. So we'll give them about 30 minutes. And in about 20 minutes, I'll preheat the oven to 170 Celsius, gas mark 3. And I need to check what the Fahrenheit for my American friends is. Let me just double check. 390 Fahrenheit. So, woo! Okay. So I'm going to show you some of our beautiful haul from Fort Emma Mason. We came with bags. We've got a beautiful shopping bag here, which is really nice. And let me start by going through what we've got. So we've got this beautiful gold bauble with amazing dark emerald green stones. which is absolutely beautiful. Now, I can't tell you the price of each of these because the lady asked me were they for gifts after she'd removed all the price tags and was going to wrap them all individually. And I said to her, gifts? I said, why would I buy these beautiful things for anybody else but me? They're a gift from me to me. That makes sense, doesn't it? Of course it does. So I can't tell you the price. So there you are. The receipt we lost. Another story. So that is a beautiful gold bauble with some green stones. Then we have a beautiful claret red with green and gold. Again, another exquisite. Now I will put some really, really lovely ribbon onto these before I put them on the tree. Haven't decided yet what colour, but I have all colours under the sun. A wonderful, magnificent, beautiful emerald green bird with some glitter and a lovely fluffy tail. My brother-in-law also collects all the birds for his tree, so I did purchase one for him as a little gift as we went round there for dinner that evening. And then we have an amazing fairy. And again, I will change the ribbon. Beautiful gold fairy with red stones, claret red. And I think my favourite of all is the beautiful tea set for afternoon tea with the lovely cream and jam scones, the finger sandwiches, the china cup and the teapot. Oops, and it's tea for two. Well, there's a story about the afternoon tea which is coming very soon. I'll tell you all about it. That just reminded me of the horror story. Now, we also have a beautiful chandelier, which I think is really lovely. And let's dig deep and see what else we've got. Oh yes, I do remember choosing this. This beautiful, beautiful of the Virgin Mary and Child. And on the back it's got the most beautiful cobalt blue with a stunning design. Almost looks quite Turkish or Arabic in design. Amazing. Really, probably my favourite piece out of all of them now that I see it yet again. Oops, end of bag one. Moving on. Oh yes. And of course the Fortnum and Mason tea caddy, which is synonymous with Fortnum and Mason. And also a beautiful Fortnum and Mason hot air balloon. Again, another beautiful piece.
Oh, Christmas tree, oh, Christmas tree.
So my friends, that concludes our haul from Fortnum and Mason. And if you are in London, please do give it a visit because it is a really special place and there's lots and lots and lots to buy. Just make sure you bring somebody else's credit card with you and not your own. I did actually spend Chris's until Scooter got his hands on mine. But I'll tell you all about that later. Okay, so now we'll go back to the cookies. We'll get them out of the fridge and we'll preheat the oven to get them baking. And they'll take about 15 minutes, no longer than even 10 to 15 minutes, no longer. You don't want them, they won't go golden. They'll just go a very, very, very pale golden colour. And then they're just perfect. And they'll have that lovely crumbly texture. So we'll go and see to them now. Okay, so cookies are done. So we're just going to leave them on the cooling rack, on the tray for 5 or 10 minutes just to cool. If you try to lift them off now to put them onto the cooling rack, they'll just crumble. They need a few minutes to set. So just leave them for 10 minutes on the tray and then we'll transfer them onto the cooling rack and then we'll do the icing sugar over the top. Okay, you guys, and now let the festivity part begin. So, cookies have been out of the oven for about an hour. They've cooled down and I'm going to put some confectioner's sugar, icing sugar into my sieve and I'm going to just dress the bottom of the plate. So that'll be for the bottom layer of the cookies. And just give it a nice generous dusting. And then we're going to start placing our cookies and plenty of confectioner's sugar over the top. Don't spare on the confectioner's sugar. It's what it's all about. and just keep stacking them up. So this is going to be your serving plate. This is going to be the plate that you're going to store them on. You can put them into don't put them into an airtight Tupperware because you'll cause them to sweat and they'll get soft. You want to keep the air circulating around them. So I just normally leave them out because, to be absolutely quite frank, they don't last long in my house at all. Especially as soon as we start having people coming around for tea. They spot them and they think, oh yeah, I'll try one of those. So just give them a nut. And there we have it. The most beautiful Christmas almond cookies that smell amazing. And we're going to have some with a nice cup of English breakfast tea. I do hope you'll come in to the drawing room and join us for that. And I'll let you know all about the dramas in London. So you guys, now it's time for a nice cup of tea and one of our beautiful almond cookies. Look at that. And in my tea, just to give it a little bit of Greek flavour, I've also added a couple of cloves and a little bit of cinnamon stick, and it just gives it that little authentic Greek flavour. And let's try one of our good ideas, our Greek almond cookies. Oh my. They're shortbready. They're light. They are delicious. And you can't have one because you're allergic to nuts. So, and look who's perched himself right beside me. So I'm shopping. I'm in Fortnum and Mason, and the Bank of Ireland calls. We think there's fraudulent activity on your card. Oh, I said there can't be. I'm not using my card. Oh yes, somebody has just used your card in the Ritz Cafe in London. Well, who do you think that was, might I add? So while I was out spending on Chris's credit card, Scooter and Peggy decided that they were going to go for afternoon tea at the Ritz. Scooter was very disappointed when Peggy decided she wanted to order a vegetarian afternoon tea. He wasn't having any of it. So he said, forget the vegetarianism. He goes, we're going full on meat. This could be our very last supper. And you know what? It very nearly was. Because I've gone across the road to the Ritz to find out exactly what was going on. Then I was threatened by the security men that they were going to call the police. For me. And him, the one who committed the fraud. Oh my God, what's the world come to? Honestly. I don't know what I'm going to do with him. He's getting worse. He's really getting worse. So if anybody's got any ideas as to how we're going to chastise this young man, please do let me know. So everyone, I hope you've enjoyed today's episode of making our lovely cookies and all that fun with unwrapping all the Christmas presents and Christmas gifts that I bought for myself from Fortnum and Mason. Well, that Chris bought for me actually from Fortnum and Mason. So I do hope you've had fun. And don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the notification bell. And we'll see you very soon for another video. So, from Nikolai, Chris, and this one, and Peggy, of course, take care, and we'll see you very soon. Bye for now.
Yes, it's Christmas. It's a magic time. You can feel it in the air. That every child got their hearts filled up